Welcome to the Pittsburgh Land Bank Board of Directors meeting for Friday, April 9th, 2021. Of course, we are holding this meeting by streaming by Facebook and by YouTube. And so the first thing we asked is they have a roll call vote of the board members. Jolie?
Director Anderson?
Here.
Dr. Bay? Reverend Burgess?
Here.
Senator Fontana?
Here.
Councilwoman Cal-Smith? Councilman Lavelle?
Here.
Director Mazza? And Director Wilson?
Present.
Have a quorum.
Thank you very much. That brings us to public comment. I understand there were no registered speakers. I've seen no registered speakers. We will now move to the minutes of March. They have been emailed to you. I need a motion to approve March minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. They are approved. The first thing I want to do is welcome Greg Miller. Greg started Monday. Greg is a native of Southwest Pennsylvania and is in the process, of course, relocating to Pittsburgh from the Big Apple, New York City. Greg has experience in land use planning and community engagement. Greg, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here, Reverend.
All right, I'm trying to find you online. So welcome. Is there anything you want to say to the board?
I just want to thank everyone for having me. I'm really excited to get started with the Pittsburgh Land Bank. I think there's great potential in helping a lot of neighborhoods throughout the city, and I look forward to working with everyone.
Well, we're glad to have you. I had a chance to chat with you a little bit earlier this week, and so, we're now going to be cooking with heat, as they say. So we look forward to you working with the URA and with the Land Bank Board of Directors, that we can repurpose land in our city in hopefully a more impactful way. The next thing we need to do is we need to, with the changing of roles for Diamante Walker, we need to appoint a new board secretary. And so I would like to nominate Doug Anderson to fill this role.
Second.
Is there any, well, I guess what I really need is I need someone to make that nomination. I can't really do it. I'm chairing. So I need someone to make the motion. I am recommending Doug. I need someone to nominate him.
So move.
I need a second.
Second.
Any questions or any conversations about that? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposers, nay. Doug, thank you very much for your willingness to serve. We appreciate you bringing your leadership and your technical skills to the board now in a leadership role and being part of the executive committee. We appreciate that very, very much. All right, the next thing that I need to do is that we need to empower Diamante as authorized signatory of the Pittsburgh Land Bank documents. And now that she will be overseeing it, we need to empower her as an authorized signatory of all of our accounts and of our documents. And I will entertain a motion for that to occur.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Okay. And so with that, now with not only being in place, but now with the powers thereof, we will turn it to the executive director, Diamante, to give us her work plan quarterly update.
Right. Good afternoon, esteemed board members. I'd like to take a moment to again thank Greg for joining us. He is a remarkable talent. I think he's really going to help built some heft around the land bank. He's been off to a great start this week. He's already taken on a few assignments with rigor, so that's a strong sign. So again, thank you for the warm welcome to our new member of our team. Also want to credit Julie Edwards for doing a tremendous job with pulling together the work plan that I'm about to present, as well as facilitating Greg's onboarding. She's been amazing. So I want to provide a quarterly update for the board, just so that you know and understand what's happened since we originally spoke about the proposed 2021 work plan. And so from an administrative standpoint, I think we've made a lot of significant progress. The board successfully drafted and negotiated the co-op agreement and executed that as of last board meeting. You have added dedicated full-time staffing by way of that cooperative agreement with the URA. We were successful in securing an extended grant, a grant extension from the Hines Endowments to allow us to now fully operationalize those dollars that were extended to the board, I believe, back in 2017. So we have submitted a satisfactory grant report, and we are extended to use those dollars between now and June 2022. I will be back to the board with more of an operating budget to talk about how we draw down those dollars and some other fundraising strategies that we will need to begin to consider. There's been an update to the bylaws by way of allowing some additional support to the URA staff to keep things moving forward. Very happy to report that we've completed the 2019 and 2020 audits, which all board members have received in your board packets. The PLB website is back online and updated. I've been looking at the website, and I'm going to make a few recommendations to staff of some tweaks and some adjustments that I want to see. I want to get us very quickly to progress towards an intake application so that we can start to understand and elicit interest from the public. We are not quite there yet, but I believe that we can get there relatively quickly now that we have Greg on board. And we have sent all the PLB minutes and agendas to the city to be posted on Legistar. And so we're going to pride ourselves on being transparent and making sure that that information is available to the public, and the city's Legistar platform will allow us to do that. From a legislative standpoint, we're going to have Senator Fontana provide an update to the board momentarily, but my office has worked with Senator Fontana to begin the MICDL amendment process. This is something that's been a long time coming for us here in Pittsburgh as we try to bring this land bank to some level of operationalize it. Sorry about that. And then from a real estate perspective, there's been a lot of interest from the public about why it has taken the board so long to quiet title on 243 Meadow Street. So one of my first charges here is to get that moving. I believe we can do that now that we have entered into contract with Dickie McCamey to start advancing the quieting of that title. That's again a pilot. We want to kind of test the waters and see what resources are needed, how quickly these things can be done. And then my hope and my goal is to start to batch process some of these similar kinds of properties in order to bring them back to productive use. We are in the process of working with the city to identify properties that could be good candidates for initial transfer to the PLB. And we've started to meet with funders and stakeholders. It's not noted here, but I will tell the board that I think that it is critical that we get some early stage wins. I've challenged the team at the URA to think through properties that are within the URA that have a community partner attached to them, and they have an idea and they need to move this land forward. We should be using the land bank to that end. We certainly want to continue to work and figure out what to do with the city's properties as well as the property reserve, but there are some opportunities that exist at the URA right now that have community sponsorship, community support, and we're going to be working to advance those forward in partnership with the PLB board. And so I'm going to pause there in case you have any questions about the accomplishments to date. All right, if not, I will move forward and talk a little bit about what you can expect in Q2. So two areas of focus as we look at Q2. We have a lot of administrative back of house work to do, and we also simultaneously are going to focus on advancing the PLB's mission. And so back of house, we're going to continue to onboard Greg. You will see Greg start to step up more prominently in his role. He will be working in tandem with Julie. Julie will not be leaving us. We need Julie here on our team in order to be successful with this, but she's really going to be working with Greg so that he can fully take on the day-to-day activities of advancing land forward. We're going to continue to pursue the MICDO amendment. I think it's very important that we cooperate and negotiate to amend the 3TB agreement. I think that's more than just negotiating a document. I think we've got to build strong partnerships with our 3TB. We know that's the benchmark of a successful land bank. It's why our peer land banks are successful. They have good working relationship with the taxing bodies. I encourage us as a team to seek to do the same. We've had some promising conversations with the county as well as the board, and we continue to work through those discussions, and the board and the chair will be kept apprised. We are going to develop an annual budget. We want to be very transparent about what our resources are and what they are not, and think through a fundraising strategy. And it is my intent to work in partnership with the board to submit a 2022 capital budget request. It is my belief that the more that we see the city invest in the land bank and the more belief the city has in the land bank, so will our corporate and philanthropic partners. I think it's very important that city dollars remain a part of the land bank because we want the land bank to be held in the public's trust. But the reality is that we are going to need a diversity of resources in order to do what we say we want to do with respect to advancing forward the mission. So what I've tasked staff to do over the next quarter are a few things. They are going to identify initial PLB property transfers. They're going to pick back up conversations around the Property Reserve 2.0. I do have time scheduled with Director Wilson to talk next week about the Property Reserve recommendations that were made so that we can come back to the board and begin to think through that. And we promised that it would be a simultaneous thing that we work on here. And I know that's very important to communities. I'm really interested in this notion of the land bank becoming the public property front door, meaning we can provide a clean intake and then we figure out what the destiny is for the land by way of, city operation, URA operation, or PLB operation, depending on what the priority and the opportunity is. And then last, but this is certainly not least, this is critical, continuing to meet with community groups, stakeholders, and funders. I'm going to be talking to the board about how I think that we begin to, go back out to community and start to have some of these discussions. I want to get a few things in place before we do that, because I'd like to have more answers than we have questions. And I think that, but I think that there's a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and very high expectations for this land bank to become operational. We've seen the press. I've had a lot of tough questions and tough interviews. I think I was on WESA this week talking a little bit about what's held the land bank back and what's going to move us forward. But I want to thank the board for being so supportive and the staff for being so hardworking to get us to this point. So with that, I think that concludes my update, and I will pause there in case the board has any questions.
Any questions or concerns for Director Walker? If not, that takes us to our financial reports. One of my favorite URA people, Julie Edwards. Julie, if you would talk about March expenditures.
Yeah, so as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, these are the same expenditures that we had last month, just a notice of advertisement of our meeting and our monthly charge from Google for website hosting. So that's it, just trying to be mindful of our funds, waiting for Greg to get here so he can start to put together the work plan and spend down those grant dollars. Next, I'd like to go over the 2020 audit. This was included in your board packets for this month. The Pittsburgh Land Bank is required by state statute to complete an audit every year and submit it to the Commonwealth by May 1st. So there were no material findings in this audit. As you guys all know, in 2020, the PLB activity was very, very minimal. The auditor actually gave us a discount because there was so little to look at. So, we only spent about $3,750 in 2020. So very, very simple to look through. Does anybody have any questions about the audit?
If not, I need a motion to accept the 2020 audit.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Any conversation, any other conversation? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those nay.
Great.
Julia.
And the last thing I'd like to just remind the board, also this week, you should have gotten notification from Mimi that it's that time of year again, where we need to submit our statement of financial interest forms, our SOFI forms. They're due by May 1st. So this year you can actually complete them online, and there's a hyperlink in your email from Mimi. All PLB board members must fill out this SOFI form, as well as the attached PLB ethics form. Please email your completed forms to Mimi no later than May 1st. Elected officials, you may have already filled this out. If you did, upon online submission, it would have emailed you a copy, and please just forward that over to Mimi. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Nathan or I.
Thank you very much. That takes us to legislative updates, and Senator Fontana about the needed changes on the abandoned and blighted properties in the Senate and House hearing.
Thank you, Reverend Burgess. Yeah, we had a hearing on blighted properties. It was mostly about conservancy issues. I want to thank Diamante for being there. I thought the hearing went well. I think a lot of good information was given. Not only that, but some potential remedies to some of the issues with the conservancy law. I've talked to Representative Emerato after our staffs are coming to come together to identify some of those issues and write legislation both in the House and the Senate to try to amend that law. Seems to be the biggest issue is that the for-profits have got into this, and that wasn't what it was originally designed for. It was more for the nonprofits, CDCs, that sort of thing. But the for-profits got in, especially after the amendment to the original law. I'll be consulting with Judge Waco and others as we go forward to try to write some legislation to amend that particular law to make it better and for the folks that was supposed to be intended for in the first place. As far as the lien law, tax lien law, Municipal Claims Act, we're still talking. Quite frankly, the school board has pushed back, as some of you may know, and they continue to have opinions. They're supposed to be submitting them, and they're looking for a meeting again next week to add some things that they think should be in that particular law. I'm not exactly sure what at this point, but if I need to get involved personally, I'll do that, because we need to move it along if we can. I also have a call to make here later today to the folks from Philadelphia, the attorneys that wrote the law there, and get their opinion of what's going on with the school district. So I'll probably have more after that, but we don't get back to Harrisburg, as far as the Senate's concerned, back into session until the 19th. I'm hoping that we have it resolved and have some, legislation that we can submit at that time. As you know, things don't move fast enough, at least for me. So the sooner we get that written, get it submitted, the better off we're going to be to try to get this lien law amended, hopefully this year. So that's my update. Glad to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Any questions? Seeing no other questions, we certainly want to support House Bill 610 that deals with the municipal claims and tax lien law. And so I'm going to ask for a motion to direct staff, Diamante and whoever she directs, to write a letter of support to the State House concerning House Bill 610.
And if I could comment, Reverend,
Sure.
Certainly I think it's a great idea to do that, to show the support of that. I suggested to David that maybe that same bill should be introduced in the Senate, maybe by Senator Brewster, since he's down there with Representative Austin Davis, to and that way they both move at the same time. Who knows which one gets through, but it's just a little more strategy of trying to get this legislation through. So maybe someone should have a conversation with Representative Davis about asking Senator Brewster to sponsor something, the same legislation in the Senate.
Okay, I'll take responsibility to reach out to Austin to begin a conversation about that. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I'd still need a motion to send a letter in support of House Bill 610.
So move.
Need a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. That brings us to new business. Is there any new business before us? If not, I'll say a few words before I ask for a motion to adjourn. With the appointment of Diamani and now with Gray coming on board, I'm really excited, You know, we have now a full functioning land bank. And so I'm excited and think that we will be able to see tangible results very, very quickly, including this year. With that, if there's any other further comment by any board members? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.